Gooner TV, Gooner Rich B. What did you make of the game today, mate?
Well, I mean, for 45, 50 minutes, we were brilliant, I thought. Dominated the game, dominated the midfield, fully deserved our lead at that point at 4-0. I thought then towards sort of the last half an hour or so, we sat off, didn't we? We let Leeds come back into it a little bit. They got the 2 goals and, thankfully, because it would have been really nervy, wouldn't it? I mean, it's a strange game in many ways because we were fully deserving of being 4-0 up. And then we were very sloppy, I thought, for the last half an hour, which has kind of tainted it a little bit because it was such a good performance before that. But we've got to win, and that's the main thing. We did score 4 goals, hit the woodwork twice as well. So I think overall we need to be pleased with how we played. Just there was one, we didn't manage the game particularly well at 4-0, I didn't think. And it almost caused us a few anxiety moments at the end. I mean, I say if Leeds had got the 3rd goal, then who knows what might have happened. But thankfully they didn't. We held on, and I say it's a big victory.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it could have even been 5. I mean, that penalty, I felt it could have gone either way, really. I mean, he didn't really take the ball, so from my point of view, if that would have been in the middle of the pitch, that would have been a foul.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, on first viewing, I looked at it and thought that's a penalty all day long. And you saw the first replay and thought, yeah, it's definitely a penalty. And then when the referee went over to the screen and you kind of maybe saw it slowed down and at a slightly different angle, you could understand why he maybe changed his mind. I didn't think it was a clear and obvious mistake. You could understand why it was given in the first place. But equally, I can understand why he did overrule it. I think that the contact was, Saka was almost on his way down anyway. I'd have been upset if we'd had a penalty like that given against us, perhaps. So luckily it didn't matter because we did get another penalty 5 minutes later anyway, which we scored. So it didn't ultimately prove to be a turning point in the game. But I'll give them referee the benefit of the doubt. At least he looked at the screen this time. And I've got no real complaints about that. And maybe that's because we got another penalty after and did win. Maybe if that had turned the game, I would have been a little bit more upset about it. But I'll give the referee that one. I think that it was probably the right decision, if we're totally honest. And he did get the second one right, which was good anyway. So I don't want to dwell too much on that. They've gone either way, and I think he did. Get that one right.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Saka was absolutely brilliant in the first half. I mean, again, for me, he's been our player of the season so far. He's been absolutely fantastic. He's only 19. What did you make of Odegaard's performance? First Premier League debut. What did you make of him today?
I thought he done well. He's very, very good with the ball, isn't he? His vision is fantastic. I mean, he maybe didn't have influence on the game overall that we would have hoped for, but like you said, it's his first start in the Premier League. I think the pace of the game maybe caught him out a little bit at times, but I thought he looked good with the ball, and I can see the potential that he's got. And hopefully, as he settles in a bit more, gets more up to the speed with it, I'm sure he's going to be a great player for us. But I thought in the first half, he had a really good influence. I thought him, Xhaka and Ceballos were basically in charge of that midfield, which was the area that was concerning me before. I'll say he maybe ran out of steam a bit more. He got taken off, didn't he, in the second half, which was a sensible decision, I felt. But yeah, no, I thought he looked good. He's just a little bit off the pace, I felt at times, but understandably so. But he looks a good player, a really good player. So yeah, I was pleased with him. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Aubameyang back in the goals. How crucial do you think that's going to be for us? With some tough games ahead against City and Leicester away. It's so good to just see him scoring again.
No, exactly. I mean, for me, it was massive that he's come back in the starting lineup today and scored. I mean, to get a hat-trick as well, his first Premier League hat-trick, massive for him and hopefully for the team as well. Bearing in mind, he did score 2 against Newcastle, the last game he started for us as well. So, hopefully this can be the start of a run. He tends to have always been a bit of a streak striker, doesn't he? He scores in runs of games anyway. And let's hope that this can really kick him on. Hopefully that injury is not too bad. His ankle at the end looked as though that could have been a bit nasty, but hopefully it's not that bad and he can continue his run. Because I think if he plays next 3 or 4 games now, his confidence is back. I thought he took the goals well. The penalty was confident. The first goal he took well. Yeah, the third one he couldn't really miss, could he, from 2 yards out? But his movement was good today, and he had a decent performance. That was much more like the Aubameyang we've been used to seeing over the last couple of years, isn't it, today? And hopefully it's the start of him. Maybe, all this other stuff that's been going on in his personal life, maybe that was dragging him down. He looked happier before the start of the game, I thought, in the warm-up, and he took that into the performance, and it's fantastic for him to get that hat-trick. And yeah, we need him to build on that now. And if he can continue scoring like this for the rest of the season, we've got a chance of winning a lot of games. That's what we've been missing, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. We went 4-0 up, and Arsenal typically do what they normally do, sit back, but almost sit back too casually. Bellerin, this guy's a player that anybody knows I don't really rate, and he completely switched off again. What's your thoughts on Bellerin? Do you think he's a good player? Do you think he's someone we need to look to get replaced in the summer? What's your thoughts?
I do feel as though he maybe does get a lot of criticism, which maybe sometimes is justified and sometimes maybe not always. I mean, yes, he switched off for that second goal today. And again, a lot of the goals that we concede come from his side of the pitch, unfortunately. He does sometimes get exposed as well, which doesn't help him. And I thought he looked okay today, scores into the box, set up a couple of good opportunities. In terms of replacing him, I think we have got someone who we've got in to replace him, which is Cedric Suarez, who I know he's been forced to play left back recently. But when Tierney's fit, I'm sure we'll buy it. I would be more looking at buying another left back to cover for Kieran Tierney so that Cedric can be Bellerin's cover at right back and possibly replace him if necessary. So I don't think that's a priority area for us necessarily at the moment. Bellerin's been playing maybe the last few games he might not have done ordinarily, but Cedric's had to play left back, hasn't he? So, but I think we've got two right backs there who can do a job. Bellerin needs to improve defensively at times, but maybe having putting him under pressure might help him to do that. I don't think he's as bad as everybody says he is, but he does make mistakes. He does switch off, and he does need to improve. Definitely.
Yeah, sure. Looking to the fixtures ahead, we've got Benfica on Thursday. It was supposed to be the away leg, I believe, but it's now obviously been moved to Rome. How do you see us getting on against them, mate?
Well, I mean, we've been so inconsistent this season. You know, if we play like we did in the first half today, if we play like we did in the first half against Wolves, we've got a great chance of winning that game on Thursday and going through the tie. But if we, put some of the other sort of performances that we've also put in recently, then we're going to struggle, aren't we? Let's hope that it's the first half Arsenal today that turns up on Thursday, and then we definitely going to have a great chance of not only going through this round, but going a long way in this competition as well. But it's just inconsistency that's the problem, isn't it? And we showed it even in the game today. We were brilliant for 50 minutes and then we were quite poor for, 40 minutes. So it is something that we need to improve on. And I'm confident that we can get through this round. And then obviously we'll see how the draw works out for later on. But it's not going to be easy. We've got some really tough games. We've got a lot of travelling to do as well now with both legs away from home. So it's a tough couple of weeks for Arsenal now. But we've got a good start that we needed, getting 3 points today. At least we can go with confidence. Some of the players, I think, can get some more confidence, Aubameyang in particular. Yeah, and I think we can. I'm confident that we can go through this and get through this tie. I think the away goals thing seems stupid when they're both away from home. But anyway, I think the important thing is to go there and try to score a goal or two on Thursday and give us a great chance then of going through. I'm confident we can get through, but we need to find a much more consistent form now going forward for the rest of the season if we're going to finish the season in the way that we need to, which is, to try and get as far as we can in the Europa League, hopefully win it, and of course try and get in the top 6 in the Premier League as well, which could be our only route back into Europe, ultimately.
Cool. Just to finish off, mate, who's your man of the match today?
Well, I don't think you can go much further than Bukayo Saka again, can you? I mean, he was absolutely brilliant. Every time he got the ball, Leeds didn't know what to do with him. They either was fouling him or they couldn't get near him. He created everything going forward for us. He did win us 2 penalties, although we said that one was overturned, and he hit the post later on as well. Yes, he didn't have as much influence in the second half, but nobody did really for us. But he was brilliant in that first half, and I thought it was him as much as I know Aubameyang's got a hat-trick and probably under normal circumstances he would probably get man in a match. But for overall influence on the game, it has to be Bukayo Saka for me. Yeah.
Feels like another £40 million signing, doesn't he?
Well, he'd be worth more than 40 million now, wouldn't he? The way he's played this season. I mean, he's been absolutely brilliant. He's the first name on a team sheet, isn't he? Every single game now, he's the first player in there, and he's not letting us down, is he? Every single week he's producing, whether he plays on the left, whether he plays on the right. He's just fantastic. Absolutely. I mean, what a great young player he is. And you think he's only, 20 still, isn't he? I mean, 19, unbelievable what he's done. 19, actually, you're right. He's still 19, yeah. I mean, what an unbelievable player he is. He's going to be an absolute star. He's got his feet on the ground as well. He's going to go to the very top, isn't he? And we're so lucky to have him. And yeah, for me, he was brilliant today. Absolutely brilliant yet again.